Here we go. So we have how many pieces of a line that we're going to graph?
3.
Okay. So our first piece is going to be f of x equals what? So f of x equals 2x plus 2. What number am I going to plug into the equation?
-6.
Where did you get that from?
It says.
Yeah, it's given to you. Yeah. So f of -6 equals 2 times -6 plus 2. What is 2 times -6? And -12 plus 2? So what is my ordered pair?
-6.
Wait, wouldn't it be -2?
Yep, thank you. Yep, 2 times -6 is -12. -12 plus 2 is -10. So what is my ordered pair? Yeah, it's -10 because 2 times -6 is -12. -12 plus 2 is -10. Okay. So let's graph this problem. You're probably going to need, you have to go down a little bit of ways for the y. Okay, so I'm going to zoom out. There we go. Okay, so what am I going to graph?
-6.
So I'm going to graph that point. So I'm going to go over to -6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then what am I going to do?
Go down 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is it going to be an open circle or a closed circle?
Open.
And why is it open?
Because it's line.
There's no line underneath it. It's just less than. Okay, what is the slope of that line? It's 2, right? 2 over 1. What's another way we could write that?
2.
Right. Okay, so let me rephrase that. What's another way I can write it so that it's negative, like there's a negative sign in it? Right? 2 over 1 is the same as -2 over -1.
Yeah.
Okay? The reason I did that is because I want to make sure. So my slope is 2 over 1. So if I go up 2, 1, 2 to the right 1, does that give me the values of x being less than 6? I'm sorry, I apologize. Does that give me values of x being less than -6? If I go up 2, 1, 2 over to the right 1,
No.
that gives me what? -5. Is -5 less than or greater than -6? And I want numbers that are. So I'm going to do the opposite. Instead of going up 2 to the right 1, I'm going to go down to the left 1. So 1, 2 over 1. And you're going to go down. My piece of my line is not that big, but there we go. Are there any questions about how I got that part of the line? So that's the first line that we graphed. That's the f of x, 2x plus 2. Yes?
Why couldn't you go the other way too?
Because I only want the part of the line where the domain is less than -6. If I went up 2 to the right 1, I'm getting values of x that are greater than -6, and I don't want greater. I only want to focus on the part that is less than -6. So if I go down, every time I graph, these points are going to get less than -6, and that's what I want. Because this tells me the only part of the line that I want. So if I I could, if I went up, it's still part of that line, but that's not the part of the line that I want. I only want where the values of x are less than -6. Does it make sense? A little bit. Okay, you ready? What's the next line that I'm going to focus on? And what is line 2? What is f of x equals x? What am I going to plug in for? Yes. You better go. Okay, now what am I going to plug in for x? Because that's the first one, so wherever I see is x, I'm going to put a -6 in. You guys, if there's no x, you can't plug a number in. Okay, so I just replaced x with -6. What is my ordered pair? Yes. Okay. If I go to graph this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Open circle, closed circle. Okay. And why is it closed?
Line under the thing.
Okay. Now, notice this one has 2 points, right? So that means I have a segment of the entire line. So I'm going to plug it back into f of x equals 2. So it's going to be, f of x equals x. I'm going to replace x with 2 now. And what is my ordered pair?
2.
And when I go to graph 2, 2, when I get to that point, is it going to be a closed circle or an open circle? Okay. So 1, 2, up 2. And now that is the segment of my So that's that part of the line. So in that line, all I want is that segment. There any questions about how I got that segment? Okay, and we have one more part of the line, right? We have one more line, and that is, okay, what am I replacing x with this time?
2.
I'm plugging it with that 2 because it's right there. And what is my ordered pair? Open circle, closed circle.
I didn't find it. It may be in my 6th.
Okay, here we go. So we're going to go over to 2. Over to 2, right? 1, 2, and we're going to go where? 1, 2, 3. Closed circle, open circle. Okay, what type of line is this? Well, let's talk about the slope. Yeah, what is the slope of this line? So if the slope is 0, what type of line is it? Horizontal. Now, which way do I want to go? Why do I want to go to the right? Yep, I want all my domains to be greater than 2. It means I want to go, I'm only focusing on the numbers that are greater than 2. Why did I not worry about the slope for the middle line, the middle piece?
Because there's 2 parts.
Yeah, there's 2 parts. There's 2 endpoints, so I didn't have to worry about that. Okay, so that's how you graph it. Now, what do we have to focus on? The domain. Okay, so the first thing that you need to worry about is whenever you talk about the domain, you want to look at the x-axis. Is there any part of the x-axis that's not covered? So when you look at the pieces of the line, are all the points going to be covered? Like this line right here, it would cover all of, if this line kept going, it's going to keep going. It will come out like this. These numbers are definitely covered. These numbers are covered. So the domain is going to be what? Yes. Okay. Now the range is f of x, so we're going to write f of x there. Such that. Okay, now if we look at the I'm sorry, not the domain. If we look at the range, now the range is the y-axis. There's a couple things that I notice. I notice this. I notice that none of the y's go above this point, right? So that's going to be something that we need to say. And then I notice that there's a gap right here. So let's focus on this one first. So what is this y right here? So that means f of x is less than, can it be equal to negative 10? Going on forever. Okay, so do you guys understand why it's less than negative 10? So all the y's are just going to keep getting less. But it's also, where do they pick up again? F of x is going to be, I kind of messed this up. Or f of x is going to be between, so it picks up at where? Negative 6. And where is it going to end? And why did I put lines in these? Because these are, yes, well, they're connected, but they also are closed circles. If they weren't closed circles right here, then they would have just been less than. Okay. There's a lot of moving parts to these problems. So where do you think I need to go over?